The whole world is trying to make more money-saving and energy-conserving steps. Everyone seems to be comfortable with these measures, but not when it involves Formula One. Formula One has embarked on a journey to cut unnecessary costs and conserve more energy. In the bid to do this, they are planning to finally implement the ban on tyre warmers after so many years of going back and forth on the policy. This news has been met with different reactions from Formula One drivers and team bosses. Some people seem to be agitated by this decision, while others seem unbothered. The team bosses seem to be in support of this decision, as they even claim that if the tyre blankets are scrapped, it would save the teams millions of dollars that can be used for more important needs. Why is this such a big deal? Will this decision affect the future of Formula One as we know it? We'll be discussing this and so much more in today's video, but before we start, we would like to welcome you to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you keep up with all the latest news on Formula One and a whole lot more. Today we'll be looking at the FIA's decision to ban tyre warmers and the impact of this decision. So without further ado, let's dive right in.
Here comes Sebastian Vettel! Through goes Hamilton! Max Verstappen wins a Formula One Grand Prix!
Tyre warmers are insanely expensive. They cost about €375,000 per set, and they use up a large amount of electrical energy to heat up tyres, which is not great for the environment. The sustainability of tyre blankets is also questioned. In essence, cutting off tyre warmers would be a great decision that would help them achieve their goal. Since this is such a great idea, it's hard to see why people would not like the decision. However, this plan has been met with so much criticism, even from Formula One drivers, such as Verstappen and Norris. Tyre warmers have been in Formula One since the 1890s, and this is not the first time that there has been a move to ban them completely. This move has always been met with resistance from the drivers. But it seems like this ban will take effect in 2024 and nothing can be done to stop it. The FIA is looking to replace these tyre blankets with 18-inch wheel rims. These rims were supposed to come in this year, but they were delayed until 2024, and thereby extending the duration of tyre blankets. Drivers have argued that taking out tyre blankets will increase the risk of crashes, thereby endangering their lives. The use of tyre warmers, or lack thereof, is not a one-time decision. The F1 has been trying gradually to ease drivers into the idea for years now. But you might ask how? Well, F1 first started by putting limits on the maximum temperature that tyre warmers can reach. F1 teams were allowed to use tyre warmers that could reach a maximum temperature of 100 degrees Celsius in 2021. However, in 2022, this limit was lowered to 70 degrees. The season in 2023 is expected to see a drop in the amount to 50 degrees, after which tyre blankets will altogether be outlawed for the following year. You'd expect that drivers would improve their driving to suit these situations. Well, not really. As we mentioned earlier, the drivers raised issues of their safety as their reason for being against the ban. In order to introduce a more efficient and less money and power-consuming alternative, Pirelli has begun to work on a new rubber for when the new temperature reduction takes effect in 2023. Pirelli's alternative. F1 drivers had their first opportunity to try Pirelli's prototype rubber for 2023. The tyres were heated to a customary temperature of 70 degrees during the experiment, but only for 2 hours as opposed to 3. The trial may have led the tyre provider to a better idea than heating the tyres for 3 hours to 50 degrees instead of 70 in 2023. According to Pirelli CEO Mario Isola, heating the tyres to a temperature of 70 degrees for 2 hours is more efficient than heating them to a temperature of 50 degrees for 3 hours. Therefore, the tyre provider intends to present the new strategy to the FIA. The proposed prohibition on tyre warmers was criticised by Max Verstappen. The world champion had this to say about the new tyres from Pirelli. He said, "It wasn't enjoyable. I was driving at 50 degrees and nearly spun in the pit lane. I had the hardest compound, of course. If tyre coverings are completely outlawed in 2024 and drivers must leave their garage with their tyres at room temperature, according to him, then I think we're going to have a lot more crashes. Since you'll be sliding around a lot in the first few laps and your tyres will be very cold," he continued, "your tyre degradation will also be radically different. Therefore, your tyres are going to deteriorate much more." He emphasised that drivers will also experience far more difficult tyre warm-up circumstances than they did at the Circuit of the Americas, where the track has several fast turns and conditions are typically hostile. Despite the fact that other racing series, including Formula 2 and IndyCar, forbid the use of tyre blankets, Verstappen noted that those cars have a lot less power than F1 automobiles, and since we have no experience driving F1 cars, we are going to choose to believe him. He said, "I believe these autos are incredibly hefty. I tried it and driving is just really almost impossible. In my spare time I drive a GT3 car without the tyre covers, but these cars are far more forgiving and much simpler to control. Because if you use the power from the engine just a little too much, it could result in a serious crash." Another driver that voiced his concerns was Lando Norris. In his opinion, eliminating tyre coverings might lead to an increase in on-track mishaps. The British driver described the recent tyre test in Austin as having the perfect conceivable conditions for having these tyres. Super warm, hot track temp, the high-speed first sector to get the temp in. They were also unkind. It was absolutely surprising and so simple to front lock and rear lock. Consider visiting a racetrack that is somewhat colder, or if it is a little rainy or anything. Everyone will eventually shunt the automobile. In general, no driver wants it. Despite the plan to progressively phase out the heaters, Norris continued, he thinks it is ultimately unsafe. Well, we would also like to take into consideration that this is still just a prototype and the driver's first test on the new rubber. There is still a lot of time for Pirelli to develop the tyres and make them more suitable for drivers, and teams can start working on more exciting racing strategies to defeat their opponents, which, in all honesty, sounds like more fun for viewers like us. But what do you think? Do you think the FIA might go back on its decision because of these safety concerns, or do you think that the drivers will find their way around it by 2024? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. See you in the next video.